All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Give me a touchdown on the top prop bets today on PrizePicks and Underdog for all the various sports. We're getting NFL bets, NBA bets, and college basketball bets. Give me a touchdown on that right now. Let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, guys, so I do want to go ahead and get into some of the really good NBA prop bets that we're getting here right now. It is a very limited board, and it's kind of a board in which I don't exactly like some of the bets that are popping up here right now. So looking at Aaron Wiggins, like, sure, this is a bet that I'm fine with. He is someone that might get a slight bump in his minutes here, and he does get a good matchup. That's the concern here, is if those two things, kind of both contribute to him having the over here. Don't love that. But if we look at it, guys, typically speaking, he is getting the under pretty consistently. So in 38 games thus far this season, he's only averaging about 19. Now, the slight increase in minutes could be there for him. And if you look at the game total, it'll be in 13.5 point spread. Maybe that does lead to him getting a little bit extra run. But over the last few games, getting that extra run has not actually added to him getting more production. So could be a tight line. Obviously, will be a tight line here, guys, for the most part. Like, it's going to be a sweat here if we're betting on this one. But for the most part, more times than not, this one is going to hit for the under. We are seeing, though, we got Anthony Simons for under his fantasy score. So this is exactly why I kind of developed the tool here. Let's break this down a little bit further. And so here we go. Let's break it down further. So we got Simons here. We are noticing that, when we look at Vegas, their lines compared to the PrizePicks line, that's telling us to bet the under here for Simons. Okay, that's good. But then we look at all the other data points that are coming in. This might tell me that maybe potentially Vegas is actually a little bit too low, probably considering the matchup that he has. Now, he is someone that obviously can have a high usage rate and typically is getting the over. That's part of it. But minutes have not been as high recently for him, so maybe he doesn't even get to 34 minutes in this game. This is a game in which they could obviously end up losing by a decent amount. A little bit of a game stack, I guess, if you will. So we are seeing Simons, Wiggins for under, and then we also have Donovan Clingan for his under there as well. Maybe even Sharp we could potentially run out there as well. To me, that'd be the way I would want to go about attacking these, is in a stack together, because for NBA, we are really not getting penalized for doing a stack. That's the real route that I'd want to go here with that. And the reason being, because I would rather just bet on Vegas being correct about this game rather than, all the other data points that are coming in that are maybe telling us to do the opposite. That's kind of the concern there. So going to be running those four out as a game stack, and that's really it for Underdog, or for PrizePicks purposes. We'll take a peek at Underdog. As it sits right now, we're not getting any of those fantasy score prop bets, so we're not really getting those big edges that we would typically get here. Some unders here where it kind of shows you maybe why the data is liking what it's liking. But here we go. If you think maybe Sharp, who is one that you could potentially bet the under for, maybe you want to do his over points, rebounds, and assists. If you think he's going to have a good game, that's how you could go about attacking it. But we are seeing, why Aaron Wiggins, why his under is popping up, because he's likely to get under his points, rebounds, and assists at 17.5. We can kind of see better why the data is telling us that stuff. So we see here for Donovan Clingan for his under PRA, Vegas likes the under there. And then, guys, I do want to go ahead and get into kind of some interesting bets that we are getting here for college basketball as well. So I pulled up this tweet. I already tweeted about it, but I'll pull it up here for you guys to see it as well. So some of the better bets that we are getting for college basketball specifically is going to be with one game. And so it's funny because like two of the better bets that we are getting on the day today is going to be looking at Oklahoma State unders for Bryce Thompson under 13.5. And we're also looking at Avery to get under 12.5 points. We can see clearly the two best bets, not exactly like a good bet here with Avery. 53.9. We want it to be at 54 typically, but kind of well on today's slate. Honestly, not the best board today, but let's go a little bit further here. It's funny because we are seeing that these are popular bets, right? And so this is funny. I'm wondering if people are placing these bets because they are good bets, or if we look at their game logs for these two, we're going to notice that, one of them is Abu for under his 12.5. I'll touch on that one in a second, but we also are getting Bryce Thomas for under his 13.5. That's a good bet for the under. But are people placing the overs because of his last 5 games? Like, where they're, I call these lazy bets. Obviously, just a bad bet on paper. You wouldn't want to be betting the over here. If you actually are someone that thinks he gets the over here, typically you just shouldn't place this bet because the data is telling us to do the opposite. Vegas expects the opposite. So an interesting bet there. This is obviously a bet that would be better on something like Fliff or Sleeper, where you're going to get a little bit rewarded for placing a bad bet, right? And so, yeah, we look at the other bet here. This one has a 53.5% likelihood for the under to hit here as well. For a boo there. So it's weird. We have like a game stack right there with those two. And it's just a weird day where in general we are getting like game stacks. And so if Vegas is just wrong about how the games go, or maybe the games just have something random happen to them, they could all end up missing. But at the same time, the nice part is they could all end up hitting. And that has been something that I've noticed has occurred like yesterday as well. It's just we're getting a lot of, if you want to call them grouping bets, where if Vegas is wrong, probably not going to be a good day. If they're right, really going to be a good day. And obviously that comes with the nature of props, man. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. Obviously we've been on a pretty good run over the past 3 videos I put out, doubling up the last 2, and then obviously hitting the nice slips there for the College National Football Championship. And then real quickly, guys, let's talk about one NFL bet here. We are getting Dawson Knox for over 3.5 for his fantasy score. I actually like this bet. I did a very detailed video already for the NFL slate, a 30-minute video. If you guys want that, make sure to check that out as well. But this is not a bad bet. He actually ended up playing more snaps than Dalton Kincaid in the last game. Now, whether that was to provide maybe more of a run script, ability to block a little bit better there for Dawson Knox, or if they just like to look a little bit better, Dalton Kincaid has been a letdown, or maybe it's just because they've been able to run out more traditional slot receivers rather than splitting out Dalton Kincaid with Dawson Knox. Maybe it's just a look that they like. Tough to say for sure for me, but with Amari Cooper, Khalil Shakir obviously looking really great. You have Keon Coleman looking good. He's not really leaving the field. And so when you give Shakir and also Coleman a little bit more snaps, and then you're also working in Curtis Samuel, and then also Amari Cooper, it makes sense for someone like Dalton Kincaid, who his action is going to be more split out, that he might suffer. And then if he's not playing that much, obviously Dawson Knox getting over 3.5 for his fantasy score is not a bad bet. And then looking at it, we are getting like Patrick Mahomes for over 4.5 rush attempts. The projection data doesn't exactly like it, but not terrible there. Is Jaden Daniels going to throw an INT? Maybe. And we got an okay bet there, but now we're starting to get a little bit too low on the board. So I do want to show you guys the underdog board here as well. But just a reminder to you guys, if you guys want access to any of the tools that you are seeing in this video, make sure to head on over to 9to5sports.com. Get access to all the tools available on the website. That also includes fantasy golf tools for just $10 a month. So take advantage of that, guys. You can get all the prop tools that you'd want and need for just $10 a month. Head on over to 9to5sports.com. You can click on the pricing and plans tab to sign up. But yeah, guys, today on Underdog, we are getting a lot of decent college basketball prop bets here as well, where we're getting a lot of under fantasy scores. And the interesting thing here is we are getting like this one here. This is a big prop line difference between PrizePicks and Underdog. And what's interesting to me is Underdog started their line at 38.5 and have since raised it, even though the average sportsbook line is telling us to bet the under already. And PrizePicks line is telling us to bet the under, with the line being at 37.5. So a very interesting line there. The fact that Underdog felt the need to bump it is very strange to me. I don't really understand why. That's very strange. It's a head scratcher. And so, I'm definitely betting the under there. And then we are getting 2 other decent prop bets as well. Actually, three pretty good college football prop bets. We're getting Jake Elliott for under 1.5 field goals made. Not terrible there. And then we're starting to get a little bit too low for Underdog purposes. So honestly, a pretty interesting board, I should say. I like the attack for Underdog, and my kind of bet of the day, guys, is definitely going to just be these 4. Actually, what I went out and did is I paired these all 4 up individually. And so let's actually get into the bets of the day. And so looking at, guys, again, what I'm going to be doing is I'm kind of just pairing these all up individually. That's kind of my bet of the day. If you guys don't want to do that and just run it out as a 4-slip bet, you can do that. But this is kind of what I'm doing today. It's just I'm kind of pairing them all up individually. So stemming it out, that's my way of attacking today's slate for Underdog purposes. Again, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. That's kind of the way I wanted to go about doing it today for Underdog. And then, guys, for PrizePicks, I'm actually pretty limited here with the Jaden Daniels free square. So I do like the idea of stacking here as well. So we're just betting on that OKC game or Oklahoma State game to be correct in terms of how Vegas sees it. Now, if you want to do that Oklahoma State and also Portland game for NBA, you could do that there as well. Where we have that game stack, we could do that. But again, that's kind of the issue today as well, is that if the game goes the way, both these games goes the way Vegas does not see it going, it might be a rough day, but it also, it's kind of encouraging that it's set up to, on paper, be a pretty good day in terms of us getting edges, in terms of us getting bets that are not getting decreased because of the ability to stack them based off of how the game is projected to go. Now, guys, that's going to be all. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. Again, if you guys want access to any of the tools available on the website, make sure to head on over to 9to5sports.com. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.